Hi, hello, welcome. Welcome to the Zoom. So yes, hello, hi. Welcome. Welcome to the weekly Zoom. I'm pleased to be streaming and all is good. All is well. I'm just going to do something privately. Hi from Scotland. Hi, Anne Marie. So there's still time to join Zoom, so you can join Zoom. The link is in the hello Prem. The link is in the below the screen, in the description box or description area. You find the Zoom link there. I'll just give it a minute or two for people to join Zoom if they would like to before I start the introduction. Just give it a minute or two. D is entering. And you're free to have your camera off as well and your microphone muted while you're on Zoom. You're not forced to be visible on the stream. So feel free to, keep your camera off. Just give it a minute or two. Okay, so the title of the stream is Non-Duality. Imperfection is perfection. It's okay. Imperfection is perfection. It's okay. Oh, that's really beautiful. It feels really beautiful. Imperfection is perfection. It's okay. I think we, as children, we learn that there's something wrong. There's something wrong. And that could be being taught that there's something wrong with us or with the world through observation. But there's something wrong. And if we could just find that something wrong and fix it, then we wouldn't have that feeling. We'd be able to relax and be at peace and be free and be happy and feel love. But it's deeply ingrained in us that there's something wrong. And so we're constantly chasing, trying to find out what the thing is and seeking to fix it, trying to fix it. Trying to fix it. Trying to fix ourselves, trying to fix the other, trying to fix our environment, trying to fix our job, whatever it is. trying to fix spirituality, trying to fix waking up, trying to fix our conditioning, our habits, our behavior, our thinking, our attitudes, our way of perceiving and interpreting, our preferences. Just trying to get it just right. Like even in spirituality and seeing a teacher, we have these ideas about a teacher, about them being perfect. I had that idea of teachers being perfection, them having sorted out all their bad, quote unquote, behaviors, badness, and they were somehow perfect. They were somehow clean. And even I think in scriptures, there is that idea of being clean, of being free of taint, not be tarnished. There's two gnats flying around now. Yeah, so this big idea about the guru, the teacher, being that perfection incarnate, and so we're aspiring to be that. So they're the opposite to what we are. We are bad, we are wrong, and they're perfection, and we're seeking to try and emulate that, try and be that, try and match up to these ideas of perfection, these ideas of right and wrong, good and bad. Like this shouldn't be. This shouldn't be the way it is. But what's being suggested in this imperfection is perfection. It's okay. Is that maybe those ideas are not true. Maybe those ideas of perfection, of those things that are so-called bad and not good enough, maybe that scale that you're measuring on isn't actually true. What if they're merely ideas that have been taken on and believed in and held, but what if they're actually not true? What if there's nothing wrong? What if there's nothing wrong in behaviors and certain thoughts and certain feelings and ideas? What if they're just what they are? They're just appearing. What if they're a part of this, just as equally as the positive thoughts, behaviors, feelings? And that can be quite trippy to hear that suggestion that maybe nothing is wrong. Because there's been this deep-seated belief that there is something wrong. Maybe not spoken in those words, there's something wrong, but there's a feeling of it. An unspoken feeling of it. There's something wrong. So to begin to hear that maybe that's not true, that isn't true, in fact, that there is just what's happening. There is behavior, there is thoughts and feelings. And as society, we can say, yes, this is preferable behavior. This behavior is quite hurtful or quite destructive or quite, not so helpful. But what if that's only our ideas about it? Just our ideas about it. Maybe the mind's taken that too far. I believe that we have to have these rules and standards of behavior and expectations to be kind and to be nice and polite and all these things. But what if the mind's taking that to the extreme and is now trying to be perfect in every thought, action, word, and it beats itself up if it falls short of demonstrating or being those ideals? So to go more to non-duality. So non-duality, non-duality is actually beyond language. It's beyond what I could possibly express in language. But what it's attempting to describe is that this isn't a divided reality. So it appears in thoughts, it appears in perception, it appears as separate, it seems to have dualisticness to it. But what if that dualisticness that we perceive isn't actually the truth of the reality, the truth of the experience? This is what non-duality is throwing out there. Is this possibility of wholeness, this possibility that this world we perceive isn't divided, isn't a separate reality. It's throwing out there that this idea we have of being a separate person, so this idea of me in here and the world out there, I'm moving through the world, is questioning that. It's looking at that. It's it's exposing that and seeing that actually is only an idea, only a thought, only a belief. But what if that isn't true? What if that isn't true? And what if that perception of it being a separate reality, what if that is actually the cause of a lot of suffering that humans experience? I don't mean suffering as in like a hammer hitting your hand or a car going over your foot. I don't mean suffering like that, but suffering as in that's pain, but suffering around it, this extra story of, oh, this happening to me, and oh, what have I done wrong, and oh, it's their fault, and oh, if only I did this better or did that more or did this less, or this extra story around it happening to someone. And so to begin to look at that construct, look at those ideas of ownership, of doership, to begin to question that, to begin to look into that, to begin to see that and see that you're seeing that. And therefore it can't be true, it can't be the reality that's appearing here. So it can't then be true. If that's seeable, watchable, knowable, then it can't be true. It can't be ultimate reality. It's obviously an appearance, a thing happening. And so non-duality's big question always is who? 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 It's questioning who is this person? Who does that belong to? Where is this entity? And then these ideas of perfection, of imperfection, are dismantled, are seen for what they are ideas, not truths. So this is okay. This is totally okay. There's nothing wrong or bad happening here. Mm. But yeah, you can ask questions if you would like in the chat box, or you can now join Zoom and you can ask questions in Zoom as well. If you look in the description box under the video, you can see some information about things, and in there you will see a link for the Zoom. Have you found it? I'm sure it's there. Let me just check. It should be there. Yeah, it's there. Back to Zoom. And you're free to keep your camera off as well. Don't need to put your camera on.
Hi.
Oh, hi, you want to speak? Hi.
Yeah. I've only heard you a few times, but I just love your voice. It's so soothing. So beautiful. And your smile. Um, yeah, like there's what is, and then stories about what is, but it's still what is, right? There's just no holding on to any of it.
You just can't get out of it, outside of
No,
what is happening.
right. Yeah. And then sometimes the mind wants to go crazy about it. And there's no one doing that. It's just like arising out of nowhere, like, I'm hearing a message, and what does this mean? What does this mean? What could it mean?
Yeah.
But it's like there's not even a problem with wondering what it means. Unless you say it's a problem, unless there's a thought that it's a problem, right?
It's like, what does it mean for me? What does it mean to me? So yeah,
Right.
it can be an uncomfortable feeling with that.
Yeah.
Losing control. How do I now fit into this? What is my position in this? How does it affect you? So yeah, it can feel uncomfortable actually.
Yes.
To hear it.
Yeah. When I first heard this message, I don't know, it was less than a year ago. There was this thought of, well, how can I, because I had come from religious background as a younger child, and then maybe tried a little bit of spirituality, but that just kind of didn't seem like it ever really, I didn't really get it. I really didn't understand even what they were talking about with enlightenment and all that.
Okay.
And then I heard this message or this sharing or whatever, and it was like, well, how can I make that fit into my life so I can have a better life? Yeah. And it's like that misses everything, but it's still what is. It wasn't like I was coming up with that thought that I want a better life. It's just the thought appearing, and then somehow that thought, of course, I want to live in a house, and I want to have shelter, and I want to have food and all that. But, that really has nothing to do with this sharing, that has absolutely, right. I mean, wouldn't you say it has zero to do with the sharing of this message, that it's not going to bring anything about, because this is all there is. I don't know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I would say it's got nothing to do with what's being spoken about, but at the same time, I would say it does have something to do with what's being spoken about, because this has been the sense of self. This one saying, I've lost it now. What did you say? Like, how can I have a better life? How can I do this, do that? This has been felt to be who is running the show, the important center position. So it is important to look at that and to see that.
Yeah. And it's like, I didn't decide to come to this. I didn't go out looking for the weirdest, most obscure message I could find. And then, do you know what I mean by that? It's like, how did I, if I really would think about it, how would I have ended up in this meeting here right now? I have no idea. Like, I didn't go around searching for live meetings of any kind. Oh my gosh, my cat's jumping on my back. It's a kitten. Oh my gosh. But yeah, I always, like, when I first heard this, I was like, okay, this is going to make me go crazy. And it really did feel like I was going insane. I got really scared too. Like,
Yeah.
I thought, oh my gosh, I'm going to end up in a mental institution, you
Yeah.
know? And then it was like, it just, I don't know, it could happen again. I mean, you know what I mean? Anything could arise. There's no safety or security, as in, okay, well, I understand that this isn't we're not applying non-duality, and this is not a thing, and this isn't anything to live by. So that understanding that I think that's happening right now could just all go away. You know, it could all just be like, holy shit, now I'm like stuck in it again.
By the way, it already has gone away. It already has gone away. It's never,
it's not. I know.
It's never true anyway. Like
I know. That's the greatest. I love hearing that. Yeah.
It's peaceful, isn't it? No matter what we think we understand about this, it can't be it. It can't be true.
Yes. Anything that could ever be held on to isn't held on to. It's just a thought that it, you know, and I think, like, with love or relationships and stuff, you know, you think, oh, I finally found the right person. This is it. I'm forever going to be in love, and this is awesome. And it feels like that. But then I'm not always in love with my partner, or I'm not, you know what I mean? Every moment of whatever, right now, I may or may not be in love with that person. It's not like something I have. Like, there was a feeling that, oh, once I get this, it'll all just be okay. Everything will be fine, you know? And it's like, that's only a thought, that things need to be a certain way to be fine, you know?
Yeah. A lot of stuff happened there. Like, I've lost what I was going to say, but yeah.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I jabber on. I'm slow to process. It just comes flying out. I know. It just comes flying out. I don't know what it's going on.
If we just pause for a minute, it might come back.
I will stop.
I think, initially, I think you said something like, you think, you have the perfect partner, or this is going to be it for me, or this is going to be it. And it was like the feeling of response was like, even a thought can be like that. So this thought of truth can be it, and it isn't. This feeling of bliss or high or happy could be it, and it isn't. So even like thoughts and feelings claim to be it, and it's such a tricky thing to be aware of. So
yeah. Like, and there's no one deciding how anything is going to make you feel, until that's happening right then. There's no way to know. I think, because I have kids, and one of my daughters is going through relationship troubles and things, and I was trying to give advice, and I was trying to tell, without going into this message at all, because that's not really appropriate necessarily for when someone's in pain or hurting. You're not going to say, well, there's no one doing any of that, and you don't really have a choice, it's just happening. That seems really not very compassionate. So but just kind of there's no one. I just don't know how to describe it, but I don't, how in spirituality, I don't know if you're familiar with that awareness term or whatever.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
Yeah, so there's no one in there choosing what to become aware of or what not to become aware of. You know what I mean? it just kind of happens. Like if I'm looking in a room, I don't get to really decide, like if I just open my eyes and look, where my eyes are going to focus on, it just focuses on something. And so like with the relationship thing, I just was trying to explain to her that someone else may not feel this way in this relationship. Someone else might feel it a totally different way. And you don't get to decide how you're going to feel about something. I don't know. Does that even make any sense?
It kind of makes sense, but it's more to do with like human interaction,
right, yes,
human relationship. Yeah. It's not actually, relevant to
nothing to do with non-duality. Yes, yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know why.
It was good advice for your daughter. I'm sure it was good advice to give to her.
Yeah, she did. She seemed happier once I said that. I didn't. I don't know. I'm just like, how it is. Are you a mom? Just trying anything, just trying anything to help your child feel better, or or just understand that it's all okay. Even if it doesn't feel okay. Those are just thoughts that it's not okay. But, I don't know.
Yeah.
I really appreciate talking to you. It was so nice. I could chat all day.
Yeah, thank you for coming on Zoom and for talking, for chatting.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I haven't ever seen you come on live. I don't think so. When I saw it, I was like, oh, yay! Yeah.
So I don't really hear a question from you. So maybe that was it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that was probably all I can come up with now. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. How can I? Oh, that's no. What do you think about AI? I don't really think about AI. I don't really think about it. No. So yeah, not much. Namaste. Hi, Kelly and visitors. Love me some non-duality big time. Hi, Barbara. Off topic, but how long have you been growing your locks? I want to start mine. Oh, I'm not sure. Maybe 2 years. I'm not sure. I had a shaved head for a while, and let it just grow out. So maybe about 2 years. I'm not sure. Oh, what happened then? I admitted somebody, but it disappeared. You might need to try again. I might have pressed the wrong button. I'm sure I didn't, but it might. Oh, there you go. You disappeared for a second. And you're free to have your camera off as well in Zoom. No pressure to have your camera on. Hi. How does the silence know it's looking, yet also looking through a limiting belief at the same time? I love how bizarre that is. How does the silence know it's looking? Well, it doesn't know it's looking. It just is. It doesn't have that as a thought or as an idea or as a knowing. It just is. It just is. So these things like knowing and thoughts and ideas appear, they appear as things, as form. But what you're calling silence or emptiness is nothingness. It doesn't have this perception of, oh, I'm looking, I'm knowing, I'm seeing. It doesn't have that. You could say it produces that, but it doesn't have that. It's, let's say, before or form. It just is. Right, form comes out of it. Form is it, but in the appearance of form. So it doesn't know it's looking, and yet it is. It is. And this is the celebration. It is. It's not a personal celebration of I know forms, I know it's looking at me. It's just, it is, it's everything. It's everything. Yet also looking through a limiting belief. Yeah. Like we can have ideas about this. And that's fine. Ideas appear about this, but they are never what this is. They're just ideas. They're never truth. And this is this dropping, this dissolving. Meaning this attachment, identification with anything perceiving, with any narrative of perception. This is all. Silence, emptiness is all. And maybe what you're calling bizarre, I may use the term miraculous. It's miraculous. It's miraculous, this happening. Which seems to be, it seems to be known through form, like the human has the ability to potentially wake up out of the dream of separation. So there can be this seeming knowing of itself, knowing of the silence, knowing of the emptiness. But it's not, it is, but it's not as well. It's not intellectual. It's not a knowing the way we imagine knowing is. It is an isness, an is of it, an is of it. But yeah, how miraculous that this is happening. That this is happening. Nothing special, but just this is happening. This is happening.
Kelly, would you say that, you know, how some speakers say like it's wanted or it's longed for because it's
sorry, Natalie, can you repeat? I was reading Fergie's
oh, I'm sorry.
The question, sorry.
No. Oh, that's okay. Like some speakers I've heard will say this is what is longed for. This is already whole and complete. But it's for no one. It's no one is longing for this. It's just what is longed for because it is what it is, because it's happening. Is that, I don't know. I don't know that I need to understand that, but I didn't understand any of that. When someone says like, this is wholeness already. And I kind of, you know, I don't get that, but it's longed for by no one.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? What does that say to you?
What's that doing for you? What's the issue? So you're feeling like a bit of confusion around it or something, or you're not?
Yeah, just like I'm just thinking, well, it's like the term, okay, it's wanted. Whatever is happening is wanted by no one. Does that just mean it's wanted because it's here, because it's happening? Do you know what I mean? I don't know. It's a little confusion on that. I don't,
Yeah.
not that it really matters, but when it's said that it's wanted, it's longed for. Anything that is longed for
Yeah.
because it is. That maybe.
Well, when there is that separation, sense of separation, there is this longing, this sense of you've lost, something's happened, you've lost something, and there's this longing, this heartbreak, this hurt, and so there's a longing to you could say go home, or to remedy that, to find the solution to that, to find wholeness, to find love. To go back to that completeness, and so that longing tends to drive that seeking, that human seeking, to find it in form, to find it in all that we can see and perceive, to find it in our story, in our narrative. But what's being spoken about is that narrative of you is appearing, but it's not the truth of what's happening. It's a narrative playing. Imagine like a film. There's the visual, and there's the narrative audio overlaying it. So that narrative audio is playing along, but it isn't actually the truth of what's happening. So in the narrative, there's this longing to find home, and it could be through anything, a partner, through whatever. There's this longing to fill that hole, that lack. And so what's being spoken about is that longing is actually trying to find home. And it believes the home is in its stories, in itself. It can find home in its own story, its own narrative. But actually, that narrative of you isn't actually true. And the only home to be found, the only love and peace to be found, is actually right here as what is happening outside of that story of you.
Yeah.
If that hits anything, I don't know.
Yeah, it does a lot. A lot of times there'll be all these questions swirling around, feels like swirling of questions, and then they just go away like, who cares? Who knows? No, there's no one to know, and then it's just like just a settling in of like, okay, well, I don't know. I don't know how it'll hit me from any time, I just never know. Yeah. Today it's quite relaxing. That's the story, though.
But those, but those questions that are coming up for you, I think they may have a seed in them of that could be explored more. Like they obviously they're saying something, they're showing a belief or a deep-seated idea. So they aren't to be just thrown away. I mean, maybe you could throw them away, but actually, because they aren't true, but that they can have a seed of a deep belief in it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There was,
especially if they're reoccurring as well, reoccurring ideas and reoccurring thoughts.
Right. And what seems to have happened here, and it's not like it's going to stay that way, but so many of the beliefs of it shouldn't be this way, or they shouldn't have done that, have just lost any kind of potency at all, because it shouldn't be. Well, it is. And saying it shouldn't be actually doesn't change anything. It's just a thought. It shouldn't be. I don't, and what I kind of like come to is it boils down to like preference. Like, I like this and I don't like that. That's why it shouldn't have happened, because I don't like it that way. Or, like, well, next time I'll do this. Well, next time, where is next time? When is next time? If there is a next time. And all those things kind of have just kind of like disintegrated. Even like deep religious beliefs are now like it's like those beliefs were just thoughts, and they weren't even my thoughts. They were put in there from whatever parents, schooling, when I went to Catholic school, conditioning, all that, which is also still kind of a story to explain, the religious beliefs that fell away that were never actually there, in a way. Because they weren't really my beliefs. They were beliefs, are kind of just like a thought, right?
Yeah, that's great. That's great. I think it's definitely has a relevance to understand that and to be able to recognize that. But it feels like it's so much deeper than just a thought, though. It's so deep. Those
it
thoughts
feels so deep.
Have been believed in, and repeated for so long. It's much deeper than just always a thought and ignoring it. It's actually a deeper impact it has. It's been believed and held on to be as a truth, as a reality of how the world is, how perception is. So it's more than just thinking it.
Right. But how did it disintegrate so quickly? After, I don't know, I actually had one of my sisters, we have a group chat. I have three other sisters, and one of them said out of nowhere, "I'm so sorry that you've lost your way," to me. And I said, "What way? Where are we going? What are you talking about?" Now, I was being a little facetious at that point because I think I know what she means, that I no longer prescribe to any religious affiliation, which in our family, that was like a strong belief. And now I feel like a lot of them think like, oh, I'm going to go to hell now because they need to pray for me because I don't have a way. And I mean, and I could feel compassion. That comment would have driven me crazy. Probably 5 years ago, I would have been like, what are you talking about? And defending, but I just didn't, there was no, what am I going to say? Our belief in God, that our parents gave us, was really just handed down to them. And that, there's no point. Like, it is what it is, and there's nothing right or wrong with having that belief, unless I think there's nothing inherently wrong, and for someone to think that I've lost my way, it's like, okay, well, I'm kind of sorry that you have a way, because that brings a lot of suffering, but it couldn't be any other way until it stops,
Yeah, it's hard to be challenged by our friends and family. It's
yeah.
But it's really useful to have these things brought up. It's
I know. And then it didn't faze me. Like, I didn't have any feeling of I need to defend this and try to explain what non-duality is. And because everything is not two, it was just kind of like a relaxed, like, okay, well, I don't know. There's no right or wrong way for me to think about it. It's just, I didn't have any real, like, it was just weird to see this seeming difference of how I would have reacted, but I don't know how I would have reacted back then, It's just the thought that I think I knew how I would have reacted. Yeah, I don't know. It's a strange thing to have someone say that as if like she knows as if someone else could know what someone actually believes in,
Yeah, I could be wrong here, but I would suggest that it has affected you. I think it has affected you. Yeah, I think it probably has in
Yeah,
some way.
it probably has in some way. You're
Yeah.
right. Thank you. Thanks for calling me out. I needed that.
Yeah. But
It's a weird
I have
feeling.
a similar thing. My family, my mum particularly now at the moment, is also now religious. And so I have a similar thing where she's like trying to get me into church and getting me to read the Bible. And I'm like, oh, okay. So it's like I can empathize with what you're saying.
Yeah. Good. Good. Yeah. It was so random too. Another sister was asking if anyone had a cowboy hat for her daughter who's a kindergartner. And then like we were all commenting, yes, yeah, we got one. And we were gonna decide who was gonna let her use their hat. And then all of a sudden this other sister wrote that and I was like, oh my God, anything can happen. Like, wow. Out of nowhere, she just comes up with that. I don't know. Mhm.
So yeah, thank you for sharing what you just
Oh
shared.
yes,
Yeah,
thank you, thank you for thank you
Natalie.
for your
Yeah,
comments.
yeah.
Yes.
Um, it's a simulation that we are living in. Soul is without I. Soul needs nothing to know itself. Soul is who you are. You are formless. Formless knows itself. The outside of that story feels like it's everything. I'm formless. Eternity is formless. Forms come and go. Forms come from formless and vanish into formless. Formless is everywhere. Formless is intelligent. Formless never gets born and never dies. Mm. So this is it. This is it. There's nothing missing. It's totally complete the way it is. These ideas of you, these thoughts of you, these feelings of you, these perspectives and perceptions of you are just that. They're not truth. This is never changing, never moving. Thank you so much for joining the stream, and I shall see you next time. Lots of love.
Thank you.